Right now, this balding eagle is having the same problems that I have at times. Now, he looks at all the squabbling going on around him and probably thinks, I gotta get away from this. Just look at all this. I gotta fly away somewhere. And that's just what I did. Dave called me up on Friday in early May saying, you ought to come up here to the cove. I'm getting the lodge ready to open and maybe we can eat some seafood. What do you think? 2 days later, on Sunday, I was landing in Ketchikan. In Ketchikan, you simply step out of the airport, and in 15 minutes and a short walk, you've made it to the ferry terminal for a ride on the old Stikine. So hop aboard. It doesn't take long to get out of Ketchikan. There's the Matanuska and Alaska Marine Lines ferry, and there's another cruise ship trying to hide over there. But gradually, we start getting out of town and putting Ketchikan in the rearview mirror, whatever boats have. We finally get out to the open sea, and old Prince of Wales Island is just ahead of us. It takes about 3 hours to get to our destination, the terminal at Hollis. Here the old skipper jockeys the ferry up to the dock. Easy now, don't run over anything. Just a little bit at a time. Yeah, that's about it. Ease in there, and we got the ramp lined up, and I hope Dave is out there somewhere waiting for me. Well, not too surprising. Dave was there, and we hit the road for the lodge. Now, if you ever find yourself headed for Coffman Cove, take the Luck Lake Cutoff. It's a bit longer, but the country's beautiful. Every mile on the road you expect to see wildlife. This is a mother Sitka black-tailed deer. Right now she's worried about us, but her fawns couldn't care less. All they want to do is nurse. Most of the deer around here eat on the road shoulders each day. That's their cafeteria. That's where the food is. Just look at the grass and shrubbery. Now on down the road we go. What's next? Oh, a pair of deer. Great. And one's a little buck. But the fact is, these Sitka blacktails don't really grow very big racks. 4 corns and 3 points are pretty much the norm. It really is interesting traveling the cutoff road here. You go around one curve and then another, and then bam! Wow, she's got 3 cubs. Neat. But bears aren't unusual around here. There are more bears on the island than people. I kind of like that. Then at last we get to the Bear's Den Lodge and supper, I hope. The Bear's Den Lodge in Coffman Cove, it sits on a hill overlooking Clarence Straight on the inland sea of Alaska, and there's a lot of cruise ships plying these waters day and night. You see a lot of them. Now Dave's got a pair of, I believe, 19-foot aluminum boats, and they're in excellent condition. Both have all the electronics fishermen need, and they're pretty well equipped. Rod holders and downriggers and stuff like that. Now as I pan around here, the first thing you see is what he calls a 2x2. I think it's a New York term. I've never heard it. And he uses this thing to haul his clients down to the boat each day. Behind it is his fish shed with freezers and ice maker, and he also stores his fishing equipment in here. This is the box for his garbage cans, and here's his gasoline tank for his vehicles and his boats. Back over here behind these sliding doors is his fish processing shed, and it's got his vacuum packers and cutting table and more freezers. But as you can see, quite a bit of clutter has accumulated around the lodge, and Dave really wanted to spiff the place up a bit before his clients started arriving in about a month or so. And that was our goal before going fishing. Oh boy. Now we'll go upstairs. Well, it's a rainy day, and that's what it looks like outside. And here's the inside of my digs. Got the kitchen back over there. Yeah. There's one bedroom behind that door. Another one over there. And my humble digs are right through here. Oh shoot, I didn't make my bed this morning. Oh well, it's a tough life. Got an extra bed right there, huh? Haven't found a use for that. Bathroom. Bathroom with me in the mirror. So that's it. I've managed to make do for a few days here. Oh well, back to the real world and civilization, I suppose, in about 5 more days. Tough life. Somebody's got to do it. But speaking of things we got to do, let's start our cleanup so we can go out and catch a fish or two. I think we can get rid of some of this clutter. There now. That's better. Looks nicer, doesn't it? Okay, that's a good start. Now, let's turn our efforts to the shed. Yep, and done. Now, let's go look at the storage area. Okay, great, and done. Boy, having a computer sure speeded up the cleaning chores. Now, let's go fishing. Albert and I got one of Dave's boats in the water, and we were ready to go fishing. But for what? That was the question. Salmon season wasn't open yet, and most of the halibut were still wherever they go in the winter, wherever that is. Soon we were underway out past one of the biggest boondoggles I've ever personally seen. In about 2010, public funds in the tens of millions of dollars were spent on this terminal. 60 Minutes on TV should have done a story about this debacle. The ferry ran less than 2 years before they abandoned the whole thing, and now the buildings just sit empty. Well, we zipped out to the fishing hole, and it wasn't long until Dave got one on.
Fish fry tonight? Should see color soon.
Oh, I see him. Oh, that's a nice one.
Oh yeah.
Nice one. Splashed myself nicely.
Yeah.
It doesn't look real
Great.
big. It'll eat good. Then we got surrounded by dolphins.
There'll be 3 or 4 over here, then all of a sudden there's 3 or 4 over on this other side.
You just sort of wave the camera around back and forth and you hope you get one. Keep looking. Get ready.
This is why I love Alaska.
Mm-hmm.
There's 3, 4.
Together, yeah.
What are you doing over there?
Beautiful.
Oh, we just had one go underneath the boat.
Beautiful. You're never gonna remember their names.
That was Bob.
Yeah.
That one.
Yeah.
I know him.
You know him, do you?
Yeah.
See that? That was one. There's more than I don't know how many there are here.
God, I think I got him.
He's a big one. Look at him. Look at him.
Oh man. He's got like that.
And dolphins weren't the only thing we saw. Sea otters. Now these critters, they've been around here for years, but now they travel in herds, and I've been told that they've just about wiped out the crab population and most of the clam beds. They are fun to watch. Now this appears to be a mother and her pup, and they look well fed. That's bad news and tough on crabs.
Oh yeah.
Oh, I know.
But then Dave's fishing luck continued.
Oh, look what I got.
Yeah. Can you keep them?
Yeah,
this
one.
year?
Well, if you can only keep one, you might wait for a big one.
And at 80 feet, the swim bladder's gone.
Well, we had enough fish for a couple of meals, so we headed south for the cove, passing a fishing boat and some more otters until we got to Rose Island. Just seeing Rose Island brought back a flood of memories from over the years. But Dave had other plans if the whales would get out of the way, so we had to keep going. He wanted some fresh shrimp. Okay, I thought, I've caught shrimp here before, right around Rose Island, as a matter of fact. You just toss out a shrimp trap, then a few hours later you haul it in with plenty of shrimp for supper. Nothing to it. But Albert had his rain gear on and it looked like he was ready to go to work. What the heck? Albert stood by the winch, ready to go, and it looked like the two of them were well experienced with each other. The first trap came aboard and a couple of fish spilled out. Not the targeted species, which were shrimp.
Well, pretty looking thing. How many shrimp?
One.
1, 2, 3.
I see 3. Oh, wait a minute. There's only half a dozen.
There looked to be few shrimp in the pot. But you see those coils of rope? Now that was my job. I was the rope flopper and had to abandon my camera as the winch hauled all 600 feet of line on board. Yeah, there looked to be few shrimp.
Come on.
I captured one shrimp making a break for freedom.
What's the difference? Do better.
I see 2 shrimp.
Yeah.
Albert kept looking through the critters in the trap, starfish and such, hoping to find a few more shrimp, but pickings were slim. But Dave kept count for him anyway.
3, 4. Where's number 5? There's 5.
There's octopus,
Halibut.
there's a halibut in there. There's chicken wings.
Oh, yeah, throw the chicken wings in.
Then Albert looked for some new bait and found some chicken wings.
Maybe you catch Colonel Sanders.
Yeah.
He wound up stuffing quite a few chicken pieces in the trap. Maybe we'd find out that poultry was a new secret weapon for shrimp.
We had chicken wings the other night. I cut the ends off.
We really needed to find something that worked if we were going to be enjoying some cocktails for dinner. Over the side, back in the ocean. Man, shrimping was a lot harder work than I remembered. Then up came another trap with a bonus. Yum! An octopus.
Ah, that's a good eating octopus right there.
It's a good eating octopus,
That
huh?
size, yeah. If I were to eat octopus, you know.
An octopus. I'm not eating that one, boys. No, sir. There's some that claim octopus come from Mars or somewhere out there because the darn things have copper-based blood, not iron like all the other critters on Earth. But that's not really the reason I'm going to skip chewing on him. No, it just really doesn't look that good to me. We'll toss him back for the next guy. He looks kind of like something that came out of a nose. Ugh.
You need to bring out a spring or something to that.
Yeah. Okay, we gotta go find some. Put it right here.
Right here?
Yeah.
Okay.
Something's down there. I don't know what it is. Looks like shrimp.
Well, we better do a little better, or it looks like our cocktails are going to have only about 4 shrimp apiece in them. Then we had some luck. It was a pretty good haul, and Albert shook out the trap to see what our grand total was.
Is that my homemade one?
Yeah.
I made this pot. I bought 2 pots that didn't work. I cut them apart and put these together.
Huh. Well, this will work.
And we've done pretty well with this pot.
Okay, great. Looked like we were in luck for dinner.
Wow. This is the most shrimp we've had.
And make sure I got them all.
We'll start looking for. See if I can find any more.
There's the.
That's a record number of shrimp there. There might be a dozen.
Really?
Oh, here we are.
We might have dinner tonight.
Yeah. Let's see.
Looked like we were in luck for dinner.
That's encouraging.
Yeah.
Oh, it's Van Aken's.
8:49.
In the last hour, I had found that shrimping was a lot harder than I remembered it being. So I asked Dave, why don't you use an anchor puller to haul these shrimp traps up? It would be a lot easier that way. And he said, well, if it was easier, everyone would already be doing it. Now his philosophy comes from being a dairy farmer and working hard all his life. Or his credo was, cows got 4 teats, I got 2 hands, so I've always got twice as much work as I can do. Buckle up and haul up the traps. He's a hard worker with an equally hard head and not inclined to take advice from anyone. I'll explain here, real simply now, what I was suggesting. First of all, this is an anchor puller, and line can only go through it one way, one direction. Try to move it the wrong way and it clamps in place, stopping the rope. Okay, now we'll say this is a shrimper just sitting in his boat. The shrimp pot is 350 feet below him on the bottom. The trap has 20 feet of chain on it to keep it from moving. Joined to the chain is another 600 feet of half-inch anchor line stretched across the ocean bottom and then on up to the boat with a winch on it. Okay. When the winch is engaged, it drags the shrimp pot across the bottom for nearly 300 feet, kicking up swirls of mud, and it gets drug into all kinds of rocks, snarls, and snags that would like to keep it on the bottom forever. So what you do is put an anchor puller on the line, attached to the trap's float or buoy. Then, with the shrimp pot's line attached to the boat, you simply pull away with the boat as the buoy slides down the line for the length of a football field or so. At that point, all the slack line is gone and the pot is hoisted straight up, not dragging it across the bottom. Now, when it gets to the buoy, the line stops at the anchor puller and you simply glide over in your boat and pick up the shrimp trap. Piece of cake. Couldn't be easier. It is easier. Everyone should do it. The fishing had been slow, but it is early in the year. Soon the salmon will show up and the fishing will get hotter. We headed back past the triplets and into the cove. We put the boat into one of Dave's rented slips, and he rents these for this year, for the whole season, and it costs him about $1,200 a season for both boats, I think. This way they're a lot more handy for his clients. I decided to go look around the old Ocean View RV park where we used to camp. Yep, I could almost still see our trailer tonneau down at the end of the road, but the campground was gone. Where Steve Binniger and I had spent a lot of summer days over the years, there was now a house. The view out over Clarence Straight was the same as ever, but the magic was gone. I could clearly remember sitting in that very spot, sharing beers, fresh crab, and fishing stories with Steve on many evenings. That last year with Steve in the campground was the year Dee Dee and her husband Chuck began building the lodge that would become the Bear's Den when Dave bought it 5 years later. But I still had to walk down to the end of the road to where we parked old Tonto and lived for the 3 months of summer in 2016. I think I made more memories in Coffman Cove probably than any other place on earth. For just a minute, I could picture Darcy and me sitting there, watching the cruise ships go by. But no, that time had gone. There was one current resident of the old campground that fascinated me. I called him a balding eagle because I couldn't think of a better name for him. Bald eagles don't generally get their white head until about their 5th year, and this guy was just starting on his. He was sort of 50-50 on the change, and he looked a bit like the Lone Ranger. Yes, sir, that's quite a stare. I don't know about the future of the Bear's Den. Dave's starting to get up there in years, and someday he'll have to turn the lodge over to somebody else. That'll be a shame because his clients love him and what he's built the lodge into being. But time is no friend to anyone, and the day will come when Dave passes the torch. Or the shrimp pot. I just hope he has an anchor puller on it. Thanks for the years, Dave.